What's up, traders? So SPX comes in strong but ends up showing major signs of weakness. The market sees a lot of chop, and in today's session, we're going to be going over what has happened since the morning open till the end of the day. What were our results, our predictions, our trades, and go over in detail about some of the analysis that we see as key trends. Okay, so first and foremost, let's talk about the story about what's happening in today's trading session. So the market experienced a boom early on simply because of the news that NVDA would be able to sell their H100 chips to China. Now, this caused a surge amongst all semiconductor stocks, but it also allowed Chinese stocks such as BABA to also do very well. BABA ran up 8% today, and other Chinese stocks as well, such as Baidu, were also up. Okay, now these stocks were simply moving because of that AI flexibility, and they also move because China is also showing strong growth prospects as well. They pretty much got a guide up on their economy from 4% annual growth to 4.5. Okay, so that was a positive thing on that front. Now, this boom in semiconductors, a lot of people expected it to move higher, but we were very cautious going into that. So we'll explain that reason why, but we had NVIDIA 165 calls that we were swinging, right? So pretty much what we did is we sold it near our estimated weekly high. I told the team that this is where premiums are very expensive. This is where the top gamma is. And you can kind of see that it opens at our level 1 bullish support, spikes to estimated weekly high, and then pretty much cascades lower. It's very possible that even on great news that this could be the top here. And in our Discord, we sold those NVIDIA calls for 242% here. Now, this is what we walked into the trading week. Now, seeing this, we want to go over our account management process because this is very important here. So NVIDIA 165 here, with over 10 contracts, we made around $5,500 just on this trade over here. Now this Tesla 330 call, these are my runners. So these we already banked 80% on, and we're just holding these runners just in case Tesla moves. But we sold Tesla near the top on Monday. MSTR 430 put, this trade was definitely a winner for the room as it hit our standard minimum. So our standard minimum, what that is basically once a trade hits minimum 50%, we consider that a good trade, regardless if I decide to sell it or not, because we understand that everyone has a different risk tolerance. So in my room, my standard is 50%. Sometimes trades hit 30% or whatever the case is. I tell people you should consider to take profits if you're happy with 30%, but our standard minimum is 50%, and personally, which I consider a good option trade. So this MSTR was definitely there, and it did pretty well today too. At one point, it was up 30% again, but I'm still holding that because I only have 5 contracts. This GS put that we walked into as well, GS later declined, and this started to move as well. We're holding this for earnings because we're bearish on that. This CoreWeave 150 call, this was a swing from last week, was not so great, but it is what it is, and it still has potential to come back. So we're watching that in great detail because CoreWeave did have a strong move here. So this anticipation of NVIDIA looking a little bit weaker, we wanted to roll in with profits, but we knew that this would be a very tough number at the estimated weekly high at 172.5. So what we had done is looked at that 172.5 call, because we know that if it ever gets through that, it could go to 174 here, and you really want to make sure that you pay under $2 for this premium here, okay? Because if you pay $2, and let's just say by Friday it hits this 174, then you're pretty much going to be break even, because if you get the 172.5s by Friday, they're going to be worth around 2.5 if it's over here. So you want to make sure you get it at a very cheap price. We try to get them at 85 cents. It went to a low at around 1.2, so we left it as it is. We started our day by getting this SPX 6250 put here, and this is at 9:40 a.m. Now, one thing about this put here, I was actually spot on with my analysis saying that this can go to $6, and it actually did. So the main weakness in the banks was the banks that was taking SPX down. We noticed that the banks look really weak, and semiconductors wasn't really too strong here. So I said that we'd love to sell 6250 put at 6, and it can get to the pre-market low. So it actually did end up going to the pre-market low at around 10:55 a.m., which is an hour later. So that definitely hit $6 right at there. But I decided to sell it for 50% here. Okay, so it hit this bearish gamma here. Now in my morning report here, I mentioned that the put gamma shows a tighter distribution, that if SPX stays under 6280, that we will see a lot of chop, which we did. But the bearish gamma is at 6260, and we can see 6240 today. So my prediction was off. I expected the edge to be the upside, but looks like we just topped off at the bullish gamma and pretty much hit the pre-market low, and then broke down lower as more news came on, and legislation. I think, you know, the market really started to really crap shoot was once the House decided to not vote that crypto bill, which caused that little drop there. Okay, so this NVIDIA call didn't fill, but we started the day off strong with a nice ripper trade with that here. Okay, and we sold those pretty fast for around 50%. So if we go later in this trade here, let me post it down. It hits the standard minimum, and we sold it over here. Okay, I forgot to post this. Let me always make sure, perfect, that we got that forwarded there so people are aware that we got that. Okay, so once we sold that, we decided to take our PLTR trade here, which we're still waiting on. This only went up 20% during the high, and we're going to treat it as a swing. Only reason why we like PLTR as a swing here is because it attempted to stay in the bullish breakout range here, so which it did temporarily break out, but stopped at 150. We think it can go to 152 here, and the range is quite significant for the stock. So keep PLTR on your watch list, guys. Very important stock. It may actually go crazy, so that's what we're watching here. Other than that, we got PLTR. We waited for a lot of trades like this in AMD that we called out at around 10:27 here. Literally took all day to fill, and once it filled, it literally went nuts. We tried to get BABA calls as well, didn't fill. The only flop trade that we had was that we took a SPX call that hit 20% here, but didn't do well. So we bought a call once the pre-market low had hit, right? Once this pre-market low had hit, we taken SPX calls, and SPX did manage to bounce, but the strike was a little bit too far off. So right over here, when we call this as 80 at pre-market low support, the problem with this particular trade was that it was too far out of the money and was supposed to be more of a quick play. It did go to around 20%, and then pretty much nothing. We had only 10 contracts, which was, you know, under $1,000. So $800 we put in that play, assuming that this would be a big support where it would pop, but it ended up failing overall. Okay, so we're very transparent at our wins and our success ones, right? But other than that, once that AMD filled, that trade went crazy, and you can see right over here that it hit over 60%, and that was in the last 5 minutes. So we consider that a great trade, and we're holding that moving forward. Now let's talk about the charts here. Okay, so with GS and Morgan Stanley reporting tomorrow, we're seeing downward pressure on GS after it hit my level 1 bullish share. Was slightly off by a couple of points, but that's earnings. So I'm targeting GS to go around 675, and if it does happen, then our earnings play will definitely start to pay dividends here. Okay, we want to see if it can break below 695, under the 686. It can start to sell to 675, and has a potential bottom at around 647 here based on my inflection points on the premium. So we like that particular trade as well. UPST bottomed at my level 2 bearish here, but I'm actually bearish on this as well, and I'm going to be looking at this into tomorrow's trading session once the banks are done, because I think it can go to 66. So we're going to be watching that very carefully moving forward here. We already spoke about PLTR. MSTR, so if you guys look at MSTR, it rejected my level 1 bullish 2 times. Okay, these are numbers that are given to people before the start of the week, and the crazy thing is that, you know, we gave everyone in the Discord a free week into our mentorship program, and they're shocked to see how accurate the levels are in the room here. So you can see that right over here. Level 1 bullish has pretty much held back, and now we got a situation where the crypto bill may not get passed. If that happens, you can potentially see MSTR maybe go to level 1 bearish here because it rejected this level 1. So that's what we're looking at moving forward here. So SMCI also hit my estimated weekly high here, and another case of, you know, very strong numbers here. 54 rejected right off the bat there, so very interesting to see that. ARM hasn't really hit at my inflection points yet, so we're just chilling on that. So far, top on NVDA, top on MSTR, and so forth, right? Pretty much we're seeing a lot of these things hit and pull back right after number. On top of that, coin as well rejected my level 1 just like MSTR. So this level 1 poses as a gatekeeping level, and usually when it hits early on during the beginning of the week, you often see strong rejections on here, especially if there's no brand news or anything like that, and usually the rejection takes it all the way back down to level 1 bearish, because those are the gatekeeping chop ranges. So our levels are spot on, our trades are accurate and precise, and we look forward to giving more accurate details. Or you can even see that Tesla also rejected my 321. We sold our Tesla calls here yesterday. We're just holding runners in case we get more XAI news, because that's a huge possibility as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this post-market recap, because you guys get a lot of information that's going to be helping you guys move forward. I'm bearish on banks, I'm bearish on crypto, and I'm bullish on semiconductors. The news is so good on semiconductors that we should see massive pumps on this stuff. I didn't do my numbers on AMD, but I'm holding the 160 calls. AMD, if they do get a confirmation that they're selling to China, that's going to be insane ripper. Most likely that speculation comes true because NVIDIA is allowed to sell their chips, so it's assumed that AMD will be doing that too, and I think that it should get to 162 for AMD, so we're going to be watching that carefully. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Like always, let's get that money.